All right, it's 6:30. Can we begin? Is it recording already? Excellent, thank you. All right, so this regular meeting of the Oakley Chamber of Commerce is called, Oakley Planning Commission is called to order. I would like, first of all, give big thanks to our commissioners, staff, presenter, and members of the public for being here. Thank you for caring about our community. And with that said, we'll begin with a roll call. Vice Chair Verduzco.
Here.
Commissioner Price.
Here.
Commissioner Ramirez.
Here.
Commissioner Krieg.
Here.
And I am Chair Chuko, are present. Vice Chair Verduzco, would you kindly lead us in Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our country?
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Uh-oh. Okay, I don't have at this point any public comment cards in front of me, but I would like to remind everyone that to submit a public comment, please complete a speaker card located in the lobby and submit it to our city clerk. The time limit to speak is 3 minutes. Moving on to I'm sorry, I skipped an item. We're gonna roll back to item 1.3, which is a presentation of the Marsh Creek Watershed Council and Friends of Marsh Creek Watershed. Ms. Woolfolk, would you please?
Hello, I'm Victoria Woolfolk, and I'm so excited to be here tonight to talk to you about some of the community groups in the Marsh Creek watershed. And so first up, we have a little overview of what I'm going to be talking about tonight. First, I'm going to share about what the Contra Costa Resource Conservation District is, and then I'm going to talk about the Friends of the Marsh Creek Watershed, the Marsh Creek Watershed Council, and finally, how these groups can help support your work and how you can help support these groups. And then we'll wrap it up with any questions you have. So I am a watershed conservation coordinator with the Contra Costa Resource Conservation District. And that's quite a mouthful, so you'll hear me refer to the Contra Costa Resource Conservation District as CCRCD or VRCD. And we're a non-regulatory special district of the state, governed by a board of directors who are appointed by the County Board of Supervisors. Our mission statement is to facilitate conservation and stewardship of the natural resources in Contra Costa County. But how do we actually operate and what do we do? So about 20% of our funding does come from tax revenue, but the rest comes from contracts and grants. So we really operate more like an environmental nonprofit. And RCDs were started after the Dust Bowl in the 1930s. And they were started to help conserve soil, water, and wildlife, and to prevent another Dust Bowl from happening. But fast forward today, RCDs kind of fit the natural resources and the needs of their community. And there is an RCD in most counties throughout both the state and the nation. And so these are the programs at our RCD. So first up, we have the agriculture program, where our ag team provides free of charge technical assistance to farmers and ranchers throughout the county. Our wildfire conservation and resilience program, Alejandro works to advance the goals of the Alameda and Contra Costa County Regional Wildfire Prevention Plan, also providing technical assistance to individuals, communities, and agencies. And the document that I just mentioned was developed by us, the CCRCD, and the Alameda RCD. And It was created to identify regional natural resource concerns that could be exacerbated by catastrophic wildfire and develop projects or other methods to remedy those issues before we have a big fire. Our monarch conservation program's goal is to increase monarch and other pollinator habitat, as well as spread knowledge and awareness about the importance of monarchs and other pollinators throughout our county. Our eco-steward team is our field crew, and they mostly work to control invasive weeds and maintain restoration projects on a contractual and grant basis. And then finally, we have our watershed team, who works generally to improve the health of the creeks and watersheds in our county. And so I work on our watershed team. And on our watershed team, we divide up our work by watershed. So I work in the Marsh Creek watershed. And so this is a map of the Marsh Creek watershed. As you can see, it starts on the eastern side of Mount Diablo, and we essentially follow Marsh Creek. So out along Marsh Creek Road, down through Brentwood, down through Oakley, and then out into the Delta through the newly restored Dutch Slough tidal marsh. And as a watershed coordinator in the Marsh Creek watershed, one of my roles is to help support the community groups that are interested in watershed and watershed health in our watershed. So first up, we have the Friends of Marsh Creek Watershed, and this is a volunteer nonprofit organization which has been active since 2004. This group historically helped establish native plant gardens, organized trash cleanups, participated in educational events, provided input on larger restoration projects, and more. But they did take a few-year hiatus, and so they're just coming back from a break and are currently just working on bouncing back and reinvigorating their volunteer base. And so over the past few months, they have launched a speaker and workday series where they have a series of talks about different aspects of watershed health, and then a few work days that correlate to those talks. And the next meeting is on Thursday, November 16th at 7 p.m., and it is at the Liberty Union High School District Boardroom in Brentwood. And I think of the Friends of Marsh Creek Watershed as more of the volunteer, hands-in-the-dirt group who likes to do things like putting plants in the ground, picking up trash, which brings us to our next group, which is the Marsh Creek Watershed Council. And I think of the council as more of a planning and thinking and bringing people together group rather than that hands-in-the-dirt volunteer group. And so this group is more new. It started meeting in the spring of 2022, so we're about a year and a half old. And because we're so new, the group is still kind of working out exactly what they want to look like and what they want to accomplish together, but so far have developed a mission statement, a vision statement, and guiding principles. And so the mission statement is, the Marsh Creek Watershed Council connects and inspires people and communities to collaborate, organize, and facilitate stewardship of a healthy, thriving watershed. So you can see it really touches on that, bringing people together to collaborate and talk about things and work together. And we're really excited because we just had a logo contest for the group and voted at our last meeting. So the logo that you see on the screen is the winning submission, and it was drawn by a student at Los Medanos. And this is probably not the final one. We're still going to work with the artist to make a few potential edits, but we're excited to have a logo. And we meet on the last Tuesday of the month at 4 p.m. on Zoom. And the next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, November 28th. And there will be no December meeting, so we'll start again in the new year. And so these are some of the groups and organizations that participate in the Marsh Creek Watershed Council meetings. So you can see it's really a place for people to come together and touch bases. And so these groups, in addition to community members, come together and share ideas and thoughts. And we'd love to have more people join, more community members, more people who live in the watershed, use the watershed, really anything related to this watershed, we would love to have you at our meetings, because that's how we can, really achieve more, is if we all come together and work together. And so how can these groups support your work at the City of Oakley? Well, the Friends of Marsh Creek Watershed can serve as a volunteer base for projects related to creeks and or wildlife. So if you're hosting something like a planting or a trash cleanup, or want those things to happen but can't achieve it yourself, these groups can help you. And then also the Friends of Marsh Creek like to table and support educational events. So they recently just tabled at the Heart of Oakley Festival, and previously have participated in the Oakley Science Week. And then the Marsh Creek Watershed Council can be a place for you to gain public comment on any plans that you have. And then also provide advice or feedback on projects adjacent to or near creeks. And finally, can provide letters of support. So say you're going after a grant for a project and you need letters of support from the community, this group might be a good place to get that, as long as the group agrees that it aligns with their mission and goals. And then finally, the RCD. We can support you on various projects. For example, if you have an area of land that is kind of bland and you don't know what to do with it, and you decide you want to put in a native pollinator garden, but you don't know how to accomplish that or don't have the time or funds to do that, our pollinator program might be able to help you plan and install a garden. We can provide advice or support on mitigation needs or projects. So we have helped to connect people who need mitigation with cities that have a space that could use a restoration of a wetland or something like that, a restoration of a creek. And then finally, we can provide advice or support on natural resource focused grants. So we go after a lot of grants ourselves and are aware of grants. So if you have a project that is natural resource focused that you don't know where to start with funding, we might be able to provide you with advice. And how can you support these groups? So here's my ask for you today. For the Friends of the Marsh Creek Watershed, just include them in any tabling events and invite them to any community service events that you have. Attend work days and educational speaker events. You never know what you're going to be interested in. And help the group continue to help the group outreach about events and meetings. So we've been so lucky because Ken has been amazing and added the group's events to the Oakley newsletter. And so just continue to do that because it's really helpful just to get the word out about the group. And then for the Marsh Creek Watershed Council, please continue sending staff to meetings. So Ken does attend our meetings, which we're very appreciative of because it is helpful to have the city input in the meetings. And any other staff that it might help them, please have them attend our meetings. It's only an hour and a half once a month, so it's not that much of a time commitment. And then bring any projects related to plants, creeks, wildlife, watersheds, fire, etc. to the Marsh Creek Watershed Council meetings. Again, this is a place for you to get feedback if you need or want it, or if it would be helpful for you. And so all you have to do is email me, because I currently create the agendas for these meetings, and I will reserve time on the agenda for you to present your project and for any feedback or questions that the group might have on your project. And finally, attend meetings. We'd love to have any and all of you attend these meetings. I mean, you're all part of this community here in Oakley. And finally, the Resource Conservation District, just know we exist and are here to support you. And if you have any projects or ideas where we might be able to support or partner with you on, just reach out to us. And so if you want to sign up for our email lists, you can scan these QR codes here. The Friends of and the Council email lists will give you meeting agendas, event announcements, Zoom links, things like that. And then the Resource Conservation one is for our newsletter. So we have a newsletter that goes out that just updates you on what we've been working on. And then you're always welcome to contact me directly, and my email's on the screen. I also have business cards with me Thank you so much for your time, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Yeah, Ms. Woolfolk, thank you so much for a very interesting presentation. At this point, do any of the committee commissioners have any questions? Yes.
I don't really have a question, but I have a comment. I did see your group at the Heart of Oakley event. Super interesting. There's a creek that goes behind my house that we never knew what it was, and so they spent time looking it up on a map for me and figured out where it started and where it goes. It was very interesting, and I appreciated it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say education is a big piece of all of these groups that I've mentioned. You know, if you don't know, you can't do anything about it, right? So thank you for that comment.
Thank you, Commissioner Ramirez.
Ms. Woolfolk, thank you for being here. So cool to see you in the flesh in here. I was at the Bugs in the Park event, speaker series in Brentwood. It was super, super neat to learn about bugs in our area. I was curious, and thank you for being here in Oakley. I was just curious, since your work spans across Alameda and Contra Costa, if you're in touch with any First Peoples, Indigenous peoples, stewards of the land, thinking Ohlone folk, Hupun people here, and if that's part of your work.
Yes, it is. We are still working on it. So on the council, we have a member of Wilton Rancheria, or I guess a staff member of Wilton Rancheria, who does regularly attend those Marsh Creek Watershed Council meetings, and she's able to provide at least the native perspective at those meetings. And then for the RCD, we do have a few projects where we are in contact and working with different Indigenous folks. And so one example is at Cal State East Bay, the Concord campus. We've been working with them to develop a native garden on their land, but not only a native garden where they can teach students how to propagate. So essentially a teaching native garden that's also open to the public to visit. And, you know, the goal at some point down the line of this garden is to produce enough, whereas Cafe Ohlone in Berkeley can use those plants in their food. So Cafe Ohlone is a Ohlone cafe where Vincent and Lewis, the co-founders, use their native foods to spread, I guess, knowledge about those foods. And so we've been working with Cafe Ohlone from the beginning on this project to, you know, use the plants that they would use historically. And then we also work with Segorte Land Trust.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I have a question, Ms. Woolfolk. So, you know, Watershed Council being a new organization, right? It sounds like there was a specific need to establish this new organization. What was that need, as opposed to, you know, something that was not covered by, I guess, our conservation district, right?
Sure. So I guess the need of this specific watershed council is that there's quite a few large restoration projects happening throughout the Marsh Creek watershed. So Three Creeks in Brentwood was just finished. That's where Sun Gold Park is. You know, Dutch Slough, Tidal Marsh, and then there's a few others throughout the watershed. And so the people working on those projects wanted a space to come together and share ideas and thoughts and experiences. And so I'd say that's the reason that this specific watershed council was started. There are other watershed councils throughout our county that were started for different reasons. This one was more kind of looking at other watershed councils that they exist, that they can be helpful, and needing and wanting one in East County. It wasn't like a natural disaster brought it together. For example, like the Alhambra Watershed Council started meeting because they had really bad flooding in Martinez. So it's a little bit different, but I hope that helps.
It does. Thank you so much. And thank you for all the hours you put into this. You know, a lot of it is volunteer work, and we greatly appreciate you and your organizations that you've been represented today. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you for your time.
All right. Okay, so I still don't have any public comments in front of me, so we're moving on to consent calendar. Item 3.1, approval of the minutes I do not have also any public comments in relation to this item, so at this point, do we have any commissioner who would like to entertain a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll move a motion to approve the minutes from last meeting.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, so moved and seconded by Vice Chair Verduzco and Commissioner Ramirez. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Those opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. Let's see, next item of business is reports. Do we have any reports from our staff members?
Yeah, just a brief report. Want to remind the Planning Commission that the next scheduled Planning Commission meeting will be on the evening of December 6th, and there will be no second meeting in December. For the start of the new year, just to get you up, give you a heads up, we will not be doing the first Tuesday of that year, since that is January 2nd, the day we all return from our winter break. Instead, we will be meeting, the first meeting of 2024 for the Planning Commission will be on January 16th. And we should have, I think at the next meeting, we should have the next calendar year's agenda meetings for you to take action on. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Strillo. Any reports from commissioners? Commissioner Price, did you attend any of the meetings this month? No? You don't have any reports? Okay, thank you. All right. Any requests for future agendas? All right. Having none, I would adjourn this meeting at 6:52. Thank you, everyone, for attending.